Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to the stream. So excited to be here as always, my favorite time of the week. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, we're going to hang out, we're going to cook something together. I'd love to hear your ideas, your suggestions, your thoughts on the dish, why I'm doing things a certain way. I have a really fun recipe today. I love doing pasta salad sort of dishes, summertime, so I'm cooking some shrimp. We're going to do a homemade red curry paste. This week, I've been inspired a ton by this cookbook, brand new cookbook from Gregory from Top Chef. Me and Georgina have made so many dishes from it already, and I made the red curry paste in here, and I thought it'd be a fun idea to use that. This recipe I'm making today isn't necessarily from the book, but it is inspired by ideas in the book, and the red curry definitely is pretty close to what he does in the book, with a few substitutions that I'll mention. So we're going to get started, as always. I'm going to switch the view here. Love it. Okay, so I'm using these rice noodles here. Hold on. Great. Using these rice noodles here. These are called Puli rice flour noodles. If you have an Asian market near you and you're just looking through the noodle aisle wondering what to get, these are literally my favorite. They're very thick, they're chewy, they stand up really well in a pasta salad sort of thing that I'm doing today. So like these are awesome. I'm gonna first, with any rice noodle, you soak it in hot water. So I just water that I boiled. And I'm gonna sink some of these noodles right into the water. And hopefully they will soften up right away and just kind of melt in here, and then they can soak for a little bit. This isn't really working, huh? At all. Well, you know what? I'm gonna improvise really quick. Just gonna lay them flat on this sheet pan here and pour the hot water over the top. Yes, indeed. You always got to improv in the kitchen. Really having that mindset of like, if it doesn't work, try something else is always really helpful when you're cooking. We'll see how this works. Hopefully they soften up a bit. There we go. Yeah, this actually should be fine. Haven't used these noodles in a little bit. Anyways, this is going to be really hard to move. Probably should use this. Perfect. Ah! My stove is a little lopsided. So trying to put a pan of water on a lopsided stove. Hey, son of a pizza man, and thank you for the support as always, Gina. Very helpful. All right, so like I said, we're gonna make a red curry paste. And this is like a simplified version with things that you can find hopefully at most grocery stores. Lemongrass, a little harder to find, and sometimes it's like pretty dried out at a lot of grocery stores, but I was lucky enough to grab these at the Asian market near me. But I'm gonna start by toasting some red chili peppers and black pepper in this pan. And I hope I don't start coughing when I do this. But what I'm also gonna do is like, I don't want this to be crazy spicy. So I'm gonna rip these in half, right? And just like dump out about 50% of the seeds in here. And that's just gonna like bring the heat down to more of like a medium instead of a super hot level, right? It might still be like medium high. But also ripping them in half helps them cook better, because when they're enclosed, they kind of will like steam in the center, and I want them to cook dry and not steam at all. So I'm adding the black pepper first, and then the red peppers there. Great. Now, if I was using whole cumin or whole coriander, I would also toast those here as well. I love having those on hand, but I just didn't have them today, so I'm using dried. And, you know, like, as I say every time in this stream, do what you have and work with what works with you. It's a good idea to, you know, if you want to be adventurous, you should try it, but like, feel free to take baby steps, maybe. I like to call it like training wheels. If ground spices are your training wheels, then good for you. I'm just gonna stir these noodles real quick to try to make sure that they're all getting equally soaked by the hot water. It's funny, the directions on these noodles said you only needed to soak them for like 5 minutes, but I knew that that was incorrect. But we're good. They're softening up, and I think we're gonna get there. These have toasted. Look, they're getting a little bit of color on them. And I'm gonna put them into the mortar and pestle here. There's a noodle in here. Cool. And I have some coarse salt that I'm gonna add in, and the coarseness of the salt is gonna help break this down a little bit. And then we're just gonna start pounding. I decided to only make like a somewhat small amount. You know, Gina, though, I think it's important, like, if you want to start with the store-bought paste, then you should. Like I said, it's all about training wheels. And then when you are like, you know what, I have a little extra time today, or like I'm gonna go to the store where I can find some of these different ingredients that I'm not used to finding at the regular store, and then you can like, yeah, store-bought's the starting point, and then you upgrade, you know? As they say, let me upgrade you. All right, so we're breaking this stuff down a little bit here. And right now it's more of a spice blend, right? And not a paste, but we will get to the paste part in a minute. I'm comfortable with this level right now, right? So then I'm gonna add the cumin, coriander, and turmeric. And just stir a little more, get that together. Smells really good already. You can smell it up there? Yeah, the toasting, right? All right, so we're gonna add these next ingredients, and these are a more wet ingredient, so that's how we're gonna start forming the paste, right? So I have lemongrass here, and I'm gonna do a full lemongrass for y'all in case you've never used it, right? So the first leaves are like really fibrous. You don't really want that in your food, but what you can do with those thicker leaves, if you're making like a soup or something, it's really good to steep them in the soup. But if you're eating them, you don't want to eat them. So like if you're making soup, you would steep it in the soup and then pull them out at the end. But for the paste, I'm only looking for like the soft middle. So you can already see it feels like wet on my hands right now already, like not wet, but like a little damp. And that's how you know you're getting to the more tender part. And look, this is the original one, and like you can't really bend it. This is the one that I've been working on, and it already bends, so you know like this part's tender. So that's like the heart, I guess, of the lemongrass right there. So I have the ones that I already broke down a little bit. And the other thing that I suggest is like as you're cutting it, if you're at like the really tender parts, it should cut easily. But as you get to the more, can you guys hear that? So the first parts will cut without hearing that. And then as you get further along, you're gonna start hearing the fibrous cuts. And then eventually you're gonna get to the point where like it's pretty fibrous and you probably shouldn't cut anymore. Great. Oh, I have this one little here. See, that one, the knife goes right through. I'm gonna pop this in with the spices. We're gonna start pounding that, but I'm gonna do the other parts here first. So this is Cilantro Stems. And if you're trying to be more, make a more authentic version, I probably would have the roots in it. But a lot of places, around here don't really sell the roots. So you have to use the stems. It's as close as you're gonna get. But if you ever get the chance to do it with the roots, it's even that much better. And I just have 2 cloves of garlic here. Just gonna take the peel off. A shallot. I probably only need to use like half of this shallot. Because normally I would make like a much bigger batch of this. But for today, I thought it'd be better to keep it small so that it wasn't like overflowing from my mortar, first of all, but also so that I could make this fully from scratch really quick for you all and show you that it's actually not maybe as intimidating as you might think it is. All right, that's good for that. And then the last thing is ginger. And again, if you were looking for a more authentic version, ideally you would get galangal, which is a Thai ingredient that looks a lot like ginger, but doesn't really, taste-wise, have anything to do with ginger. But it does look pretty similar. And anytime I use ginger, even though I'm like gonna be pulverizing this, I like to slice it thin against the grain. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with like long grains of ginger in there. They won't really break down by the pounding. Awesome, that's pretty good. I'm gonna do the other one too. The ginger flavor is pretty nice. All right, and now I'm just gonna take this and keep smashing it down here. And what I'm gonna do is just like add one ingredient at a time. And that's gonna help us slowly like incorporate and make sure that everything gets evenly broken up. All right, lemongrass is pretty good in there. And then I'm gonna put a clove of garlic. Great, coming together. Let's add the stems now. The stems are going to be a little harder to. Yeah, sure. Whatever tomato. Yes, it's So let's see. I toasted some fresh. No, I toasted some dried red chili peppers and some black pepper corns, and then I added them here with some coriander, cumin, and turmeric, and then I have garlic, cilantro stems, and what else did I put in here? Lemongrass. So we're making a red curry. And what I like about adding these one by one is like you don't need to make sure that each round is fully broken up. As you go, like you're still pounding, so eventually it will all get broken up together. There's something very nice and satisfying about when you put the ginger in and you hit it with that first hit and you see it just like getting smashed. See, really nice. And now we're starting to actually form the paste. Brian, you absolutely can do this in the food processor. I like doing it like this. But the recipe I'm using from Gregory's book does actually use a food processor. So, I just thought it would be fun to do it this way. But also, like, this is the more authentic way, and it definitely tastes, I think, better. And, like, I'm not one of those people who's always like, it tastes better if you do it this way. I'm like, it's the same ingredients, and, like, you're essentially doing the same thing to them. It probably is not going to taste different, but in my opinion, this absolutely does make a difference if you're doing it this way. I wouldn't say it's blasphemy, actually, because I was talking earlier before you got here saying that, like, I'm a big proponent in anyone doing anything the way that they want to do it. And if you're taking shortcuts, it might mean you actually doing it versus not even trying it at all. So I think if you take the shortcuts the first few times you make it, then you might want to graduate and do it a little bit more authentically each time. Because my goal is to just get people in the kitchen, and if it looks too intimidating or they have to buy a new thing, then they might not even try it in the first place. This smells incredible, so that's good. I'm getting a nice arm workout. That's always helpful too. Right, yeah. I mean, it's fun and it's worth doing eventually, but yeah, I don't want there to be barriers to entry. No gatekeeping. I like things to be open for everyone. So that looks awesome. Excited to eat it. Richard, you don't like shrimp? That's okay. What do you want to make this with instead? Chicken? I'm just gonna check on those noodles. Yes, it would be great with tofu. Definitely. I'm a little concerned about the noodles, but we'll be fine. Now that they're softer though, I'm gonna switch them back to this pan. All right. Not sure how much of that you saw, but it worked. All right, cool. And then I might actually put this back on the heat for a minute. But they're coming along. That package really lied about the 5 minutes. I'll tell you that. Aromatic quality, yes. Also, like it's one of those things that like keeps the flavor. So as you use it all the time, and like the more you use it, the it almost has like that cast iron thing, like where it's like a built-in flavor. All right, noodles are working, and I think they'll be soft at some point. So we're going to just get this going. So I'm going to basically saute that paste that we just made, add some coconut cream to it, simmer it for a little bit, add in the shrimp, mix it with the noodles and some cucumber, and we have a refreshing summertime main or side dish. Everything's wet now from those noodles. Great. I'm just putting some olive oil in here. Probably coconut oil would be a better bet, but this is just what I have right here. I'm going to let me let that heat up for a minute. I'm going to do like half of what I made today. So it's like I would call it like a tablespoon and a half maybe. So it's just simmering slightly, and it's combined with the oil. It's very aromatic, as whatever tomato recently mentioned. And the key moment for this is where you will see right now it's combining with the oil, and what's going to happen in about 3 to 5 minutes is it's kind of going to separate from the oil a little bit, and that's the moment where you know that it has cooked the right amount. I'm going to cut a cucumber now, and my assistant is here, so I may trip on her. She's right there. Just passed out and enjoying the sun, so good for her. Let's see, with batter, better? I'm not sure what that question is. With batter? Butter. I wouldn't normally use butter in like a Thai curry myself. In an Indian curry, either butter or ghee. But I haven't really seen it in Thai curry recipes myself. Doesn't mean that I'm correct. You know, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's why she sits here. She knows that I'll throw her something once in a while. I'm just chopping up some cucumbers over here, just so you guys know. I'm adding that to the bowl that we'll eventually mix everything together in. Here's a noodle update. I don't want to. They're coming along. Always need a good old noodle update. All right, this is perfect. And I have some coconut cream here. Sometimes I would basically this is a can of actual coconut cream, so it's thick enough. But if I were to get coconut milk, I would probably let it separate and use mostly only the thick part. Smells perfect. I'm very excited. I'm just gonna let this come to a simmer, and then I'm gonna stir the shrimp in and let them cook for like a minute or two. Noodles are almost there. This is such a nice sauce right here. Very excited. So the sauteing portion of this, and also this simmering part, is helping that that paste we made soften. So basically, like if you were to just take a bite of that paste, it would be pretty almost like crunchy. Like there's some chunks in there of the black peppercorns, of the chilies, and even the lemongrass and stuff can be pretty tough. So we're just allowing this to come together with the coconut milk, and we are softening up some of those harsher spices. Gritty and fibrous indeed. And I'm just going to taste this and see if I should add more coconut milk or not. This is awesome. You know, if I was putting this in like a hot curry dish with rice, I probably wouldn't add more coconut. But because I'm trying to serve this cold actually, or at least room temperature, I'm going to do a little more coconut. Also, it's spicy, which I did take some of those seeds out, but I've left it because I do want it to be spicy. And it's just the sauce, so like once it hits those noodles and everything, and the cucumbers, it's going to be, it's definitely going to be muted a little bit. But it's great. Cool. I'm going to grab the shrimp from the fridge. So do you want everything in the curry paste, or do you want to hear what else is going in? Because it's going to be shrimp, cucumber, mint, and cilantro as the ingredients. And there's rice noodles, and in the curry paste there is dried red chili peppers, black peppercorns, cumin, coriander, turmeric, garlic, shallot, cilantro stems, and lemongrass. The spice level for me, I would say it's like out of 5. You're saying, uh, uh, right in the middle, 2.5. It's like a strong medium, maybe a 3. So to me, shrimp don't take very long to cook, just like a few minutes here. You can see them. I've seen people do this, like they're raw like this, and they're cooked like this, and when they're like this, they're overcooked. So I guess that's like a a good thing to follow, I suppose. I have some rubber spatulas, and I use them often. But you know what? To me, like they start to taste like soap after a little bit. I always go with classic wooden stuff as well. Alex doesn't eat seafood. He's a respecter of all creatures, small and large, even clams. I don't know his take on honey though. I'm not. Uh, I haven't asked that one. Noodles are just about where we need them, so that's perfect. And I'm gonna pull this off and put it on like another tray because I want this to like cool down pretty well. Lots of trays today. What's up, Rich? Welcome to the Stardew world. Welcome to vaccination world. Oh, all right. So just put this out here so that it cools down pretty quickly. And I'm going to strain the pasta and rinse it. And then basically put everything together. Yes, thanks, Gina. Once Rich showed up. So here's the noodle update for you. Got to have plenty of noodle updates. Kind of washed out there, but they look pretty good. They're thick, they're chewy, they're sturdy. Most importantly, they're cooked. They're cooked. I just realized I did forget to add the sugar. I just have coconut sugar here. More authentically would be palm sugar, but you can also just use any sugar, honey, whatever you want to use. And that's going into the shrimp mixture. And I'm only going to put like a few pinches. It's still warm enough that this is going to melt right in. Cool. Need to wash noodles. Hello from Toledo. We live in Ohio too. glad you love the blog. We recently moved here from Boston. I was biting my tongue. Wait, did. Oh, you were biting your tongue about the sugar. Yes, look it. You know what you're doing around a nice curry. Yeah, a splash of fish sauce absolutely would be good and important in here. And I should use some. I'm not, you know what? I think Gregory might not use it because he tries to keep, is there wheat in fish sauce to help with the fermentation? So to answer the question about washing the noodles, I'm rinsing them now. If I was making pasta salad with, no, in Gregory's book, there's a lot of meat recipes. He does keep more vegetarian than not, but he does eat meat as well. And to answer the question about the noodles, I'm rinsing them now. But if I was making this with like an Italian pasta, I always like to put the sauce in with the pasta basically like right away. So if there's certain ingredients that are okay to get hot, that's when I usually will add those ingredients, then let it cool, and then add the remainder of the ingredients after it cools off. But with a lot of these rice noodles, especially, they're so starchy that you do need to rinse them. And that was something that took me a while to learn because I grew up on Italian noodles, and I also knew while growing up that you want to sauce the Italian noodles right when they basically come out of the water. So for a while I was making a lot of Asian dishes that were very starchy and I don't know what to call it, goopy, which is not really a great word to describe most foods. Cool. I'm gonna grab some limes because we need some limes in this. And I'm also grabbing the herbs while I'm here. And this thing has been on and very hot all the time, so there's that. So just rolling the lime so that I get plenty of juice from them. Right, and it depends what kind of rice you're making too. Like if you're doing a more sticky rice or risotto, you want that starch to be in there. Having trouble with this lime. Whereas if you're looking for like a nice, perfectly cooked jasmine rice, you don't want any of that starch in there. Like you don't want to stir it or anything because then the starch will really show up in the final rice dish. Great. I'm going to start with those two, and maybe I'll add this third one if I need it. And these are really fun, thick noodles. I love that. Stirring that a little, and now I'm going to add the shrimp mixture that has cooled significantly. Thanks. Yeah, that's the idea. Like a nice summer, I guess, side dish or main dish even. Right. So I mentioned the noodles earlier. You do have to go to an Asian market for this, particularly if they specialize in more Vietnamese or Thai. But almost any Asian market that I've been to has had these. They're called puli rice flour noodles. They're nice and thick, really great. Probably some of my favorite to use, but you do have to remember. I said on the package it said you could pour hot water over them, and in 5 minutes they'd be ready to eat. And I had to literally, they were in hot water for like over a half hour, and I had to actually boil them a little bit to get them soft enough. Because I used to use them more, and I haven't in a while, and I forgot. All right, so finally, I'm adding tons of herbs to this. And I have some mint from my own little herb garden here. And I also have a bunch of cilantro that is not from my garden. Really fantastic. And I'm gonna get this out of the way. And plate up a little bowl for myself. I don't want this blue bowl. I want a nice gray. Getting plenty of those shrimp and cucumbers in the bowl here. I'm gonna put a few extra of these on top. Where are we here? Thank you, everyone, for these compliments. And, thanks for watching, as always. It's so fun to do this every week. And it's fun to just, come up with these different ideas. I'm going to take a picture of this before I stop and take a bite. Can't have this on the side of the photo, though. Great. I think avocado is a great idea. I think it would be great in the salad. I would not mix it in, but I would put some chunks on the top at the end. Because if you did mix it in, and it was nice and ripe, it would start breaking down. And I would prefer to not have the sauce of this dish be avocado. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. In the past, when I've made pasta salad that had avocado as part of the sauce, didn't really work out that well. But I think maybe I should try that again now that I know a little bit more about cooking. As I was making the curry paste, I was a little worried that this would be too heavy, but it has come out actually surprisingly light. and the heat that I was worried about from not taking all the pepper seeds out actually has died down so much with a little bit more coconut milk, the noodles, and the herbs. It's really nice and fresh. It's really tasty. So I'm excited to make this again for my next barbecue or get together. Let me pop this over. Great. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for commenting, as always. I have so much fun when I do this. I will be back next week, and next week is going to be a very special burger-themed episode, live stream, whatever. And I'm going to take all of your suggestions for burgers. So hit me up on Instagram next week. I'm gonna, pose a question for which burgers you want me to make, and then I may choose your burger idea to make on the stream next week. Yeah, Brian. Yeah. You just have to smell the burgers and follow the smell of the burger.